Welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast. My name is Mark Stores. Hanging out with me, as always, is
Rob Morphy.
Thank you very much, Robert. And
Crisp.
Yep. Crisp.
Like a delicious apple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crispiter Carnicelli.
Yeah.
Okay. Guess this is what we're living with.
Crisp.
Okay, cool. Crisp, thank you all so very much for joining us. Cryptonaut podcast, Stardust Ranch Part 2, boys. We're doing it.
Doing it.
We're making it happen. Before we get started, though, we have a quick announcement for Patreon. So in August, apparently, they had some weird payment gateway snafu. I have reached out and emailed those affected because when you sign up for Patreon like 7 or 8 times, I see that you do it. So I'll be like, hey, guys, by the way, don't worry. You know, here's the deal. So yeah, if you're having issues with Patreon payment, you can always try to change your payment method. If you're doing a credit card, you can try a PayPal, anything like that. If you are having troubles, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I can give you a hand with everything. No big deal. Worst case, we can put you in contact with support from Patreon and they can get you set up. It was a whole clusterfuck.
Man.
Like, I'm on the Patreon Discord, which we have one of those that we'll talk about later. And yeah, it was a whole fucking kerfluffle. Like, I've never gotten so many goddamn Discord notifications. Not our Discord, the Patreon Discord for support. So any whoozle, there it is. Patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. Check it out there. Access to the Discord, the $1 and the $5. So do all that. We got some shout outs coming at the end of the episode. But as mentioned, we are on to part 2 of the Stardust Ranch, Robert.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Dusty
Now,
Ranch.
this is one of my favorite Star Wars games. Well, actually, no, it's not called this, but we're talking about Dark Forces.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. All right, man. All right. Well, you know what? We had the man who kills monsters,
Yeah.
right? Now we got Dark Forces. So without further ado, let's get started with, from the moment he moved onto the ranch, John Edmonds found himself the victim of a malignant metaphysical manifestation which seemed hellbent on not only driving him from his dream home, but quite literally out of his mind. As he learned about the property's brutal history, nefarious paranormal forces drew first blood, forcing the homeowner to declare war.
It's on.
It is on.
Dude, I mean, I was telling you guys ahead of the time, before the show here, I looked up a picture of John Edmonds and his resemblance to Jake the Snake Roberts. Current day Jake the Snake Roberts is quite fucking uncanny.
Yeah, it's
so
nuts.
he really which actually, now that I see the picture of him and I'm thinking of Jake the Snake, I know that we cast Nicolas Cage in this feature, but it might be time for Jake the Snake to get the old
Roddy Piper?
Yeah,
to
dude.
try his
get out
hand
his
at
fucking-
cinema?
Get out his bag of tricks, dude. Fucking show up, man.
He's had to have acted at some point.
I don't know if he has or not.
In the 80s, almost everybody that was a name in the WWF at least had a cameo.
He may have. I don't recall
I don't
any.
know.
But
I'm not sure, but regardless, I think he should fucking do that. So, Robert, let's get started.
This is, again, one of my all-time favorite odysseys, and I'm really glad to be doing this. But I have to note that I really got a kick out of the fact that for our 300th episode, we actually did a podcast that ostensibly has no paranormal events in it whatsoever, which is kind of funny. Like, maybe a possible.
I mean, you and I were talking about that, but I think it did, dude. I really think it did. I mean, the shit going into the pool, ghosts.
Oh, maybe.
Standard ghost procedure.
And I do mention this very soon.
Yeah, and also, too, the machete man.
Which is not paranormal at all. But he kills monsters.
Monster killer. So
it's all implied.
Yeah.
It's implied paranormal.
Dude, people love the fact that we're doing this.
I know
I'm
for that
stoked.
exact pod, no, but I consider like all the parts a pod.
Oh,
That's-
I
you know what I
agree.
mean? So it's like, yes.
It is chock full of fucking batshit crazery when you take it as a whole.
I was considering doing like a mega cut of our Mothman episodes, like cutting them all together as one.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because I looked at the runtime, I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you know what you're in for that? I'm like,
I don't
Just gotta
even
cut
know who would do that to themselves.
Cut the intro and the outro. It would be a fucking almost 8-hour extravaganza.
And you get to hear us week by week losing our shit.
And the whole COVID thing. We're like, COVID's fine. Don't worry.
Everything's good.
2 weeks. We're going to Easter. Woo. No, we're not. We're still dealing with it.
Shut down. Some
Edgar
of us didn't
Case,
make
we
it.
are not.
Yeah, there it is. All right, Robert. Let's
get to it. Part 2. Dark Forces. On June 1st, 1996, just hours after taking possession of their new home, an isolated 10-acre horse ranch in the arid wilds of Rainbow Valley, Arizona, social worker and crisis counselor John Edmonds and his new wife Joyce were confronted with a perfidious, perhaps poltergeist-like incident, calling back to what Mark just said, wherein all of the previous owner's belongings were removed from the house in record time and chucked into an empty in-ground pool. As if that weren't weird enough, just days later, John found himself engaged in a tense conversation with a wild-eyed, machete-wielding veteran who, in what John at the time considered to be a preposterous declaration, claimed that he had been allowed to live on the property in exchange for killing the monsters that threatened the family who lived there. That's the deal. You let the homeless vet stay because he machete kills the monsters, keeping your family safe.
I know it's a weird situation and John had heat on him, but you almost got to be like, all right, friends, let's talk. Like, tell me more. Like, have a seat.
He did say later in an interview with Jimmy Church that it's like, what would you do now if you ran into him? Because he looked for him for years and couldn't find him. No one knew who this guy was. And he's like, I would have hired him. Obviously. No shit.
As this
Once I know better, but at the time,
as this progresses, you should have just kept him on, honestly.
Yeah, totally. But as absurd as the old man's assertions seemed to be, it would not be long before John began to reconsider the veracity of his statement. But before he got to that point, the ranch, which seemed to have an evil ingenuity all of its own, would indoctrinate the young professional in the ways of high strangeness, eating away at his sanity and threatening to end his marriage just as it was beginning. Some bad times are ahead.
And the saying, this is shitty times on Stardust Ranch, friend.
In the earliest days of occupying the ranch, John spent most of his days alone. He was still on disability leave from the injuries he'd received after being attacked by a client, which, if you recall, he broke his back in 2 places. He got attacked in a psychiatric facility, somebody he was counseling.
MRSA, he was constantly surrounded by violence.
And then he is
violent.
He is violence, yeah. He went to get a spinal tap as a result and got MRSA, was locked down for 9 months.
He was surrounded by violence.
All the time.
Constantly.
So while this is going on, Joyce commuted to Phoenix to work for the FBI and then to a second evening job, only coming home long enough to eat and sleep. So while, he's home at the ranch, she is gone all fucking day.
Yeah.
Leaving him alone.
I mean, it's perfect drinking time, honestly.
It really is. That's day drinking prime.
Man, if I had this gig is perfect.
John would remain behind, making repairs and doing all of the big and little chores necessary to make the property into a working horse ranch and dog rescue, which was the ultimate goal. When they moved onto the property, the only animals in the couple's possession were 4 pairs of breeding Rottweilers. When John would go to Buckeye to run errands or to pick up supplies, he'd select a pair of dogs to accompany him on the journey. Though he loved them all and afforded them equal time, John was partial to one of the males named Gunner, with whom he felt a particular affinity.
Oh, man's best friend, Gunner.
Everyone's got a best friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Though his to-do list seemed never-ending, one of John's first priorities was to install landlines into his new home. Though he and Joyce both had cell phones, this being the mid-90s, coverage was not what it would become, and for safety's sake, he knew he would need a home phone for emergencies. While checking for hookups, what struck John as odd was that there seemed to be at least 30 lines running into the place, none of which were currently active. It's a lot of phone lines. John called the phone company, Southwest Bell, and scheduled an appointment for the following day. It should come as no surprise that the best they could offer him was a 4-hour window during which he would have to remain near the house rather than attending to his other duties.
So this is common shit that happens to everybody, not just us.
It hasn't changed. Like 30 years later, that shit's the same exact
4-hour window. It's always, you're like, I got time to take a shit. No, I don't. They're
Barely.
here. Yep. There you go.
John did as asked, but the representative never showed. Waiting until just before the end of the business day, John did his best to remain calm and called the Bell office back. The customer service rep apologized profusely and assured him that a service person would install the lines during their next available opening. Another 4-hour block 3 days from when he called.
Awesome.
Sounds about right.
When this newly appointed time came and went, John once again phoned Southwest Bell, but this time his patience was at an end. He asked to speak to a manager, and a polite woman answered the phone. Once again, John explained the situation and how he'd lost valuable time during the double no-shows. The manager apologized and asked for his address. He told her 14700 South Tut Hill Road, and I feel comfortable saying that because he put it in his book. So it's just out there.
Okay.
Now you know where it is.
We're not doxing him, dude. It's just in the book.
He heard her fingers flying across the keyboard. Then John waited while she was evidently reading reports associated with the address. When the manager finally spoke, she no longer had the saccharine sweet customer service tone, but one that said, "I'm going to level with you." She explained that the servicemen were not employees but subcontractors, and as such they could not be forced to visit his property. A property, she added, that had a reputation.
Amongst the fucking subcontractor phone people?
Phone people,
the phone
right.
dudes?
They're not having it.
Dude, phone men, like power dudes, like the guys that do work in the lines are mercs. They don't care.
I agree.
This must be bad.
This must be bad.
This must be real bad.
So, by supposition,
all right.
Ergo, or not. When John asked what kind of reputation, the response the woman gave was cryptic. "Strange. Your house has a strange reputation," she added. "They're afraid. They're scared to go to your house because bad things have happened on your property."
Oh, fuck.
When asked specifically what bad things, the manager refused to elaborate, then asked if she could call him back in 2 hours, at which point she assured the perplexed homeowner that she'd have the situation worked out. According to his book Stardust Ranch, The Incredible True Story, after over 2 hours had elapsed, the increasingly frustrated John called Southwest again, asking for the manager by name, but nobody seemed to know who he was talking about. In fact, they insisted that no one by that name worked for the company. Flummoxed, John hung up. Yeah, it's just the weirdest.
So bad. Can I speak to Sally? I don't fucking talk, John. What do you mean?
This is
We're not even a phone company.
How dare you?
You want a pizza?
Yeah.
What the actual? What the actual?
Oh my god, dude! This poor fucking dude. That's enough, dude. That's enough to send you over the fucking edge right there.
Oh god,
shitty customer service that doesn't even exist.
That doesn't even exist.
Fucks.
It's the weirdest paranormal manifestation
This
ever.
is fucking paranormal. Is the fucking Dickens.
It felt like he was being made the butt of a bizarre series of pranks orchestrated by total strangers that seemed to serve no purpose other than to infuriate him. He decided to give it a rest for a few days to cool his temper, but despite his inability to reconnect or even confirm the existence of the mysterious manager, the following day, while doing chores in his house, John looked up to see a white cube van pulling down his long dirt driveway. So someone shows up.
All right.
She doesn't exist, but she makes good.
You should ask about the customer service rep that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Fucking Pam.
John watched through the window as a small, nervous-looking man with thick black-rimmed glasses, a well-manicured mustache, I'm thinking like John Waters style, old school 80s.
Oh, man, it's questionable.
And a long-sleeve white shirt climbed out of the van carrying a toolbox. The little man anxiously surveyed the scene for a long beat before shuffling up to the front door. As John threw the door open and extended his hand, the man jumped, then accepted his grip and followed him in. John pointed to the kitchen counter, explaining where he wanted the line installed, and the man got to work. By way of conversation, John mentioned that he had a hell of a time getting anyone to come out to his place. The installer looked up over his thick lenses and asked if he knew anything about the history of the ranch. John admitted that he did not, and for the next 90 minutes, as the little man installed the phone line, he regaled John with a brief history of his new home. Again, the second act is coming here. The story's unfolding in classic cinematic fashion.
Dude, servicemen, dude, they got all the deets,
They
man.
know the dirt.
They know the fuck. They're like, well, you see, she was murdered here once.
Of course.
Sometimes
yes.
dead's better.
Oh, boy.
Classic Maine. Always working in Arizona.
I did it earlier. I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it.
The serviceman was a lifelong resident of the nearby town of Buckeye, Maine, and was therefore well acquainted with the property's checkered past. Originally, the ranch had been built in 1977 by a man who wanted to give it to his new bride as a wedding gift. Without telling her what he was doing, he had the contractors build stables, storage sheds, and a beautiful 2,500 square foot home. When the day finally arrived for him to present this opulent gift to his wife, it would be the husband who would be in for a surprise. The moment his wife stepped onto the property, much like Joyce nearly 2 decades later, she knew she hated the place. She could feel a dark energy permeating every crevice of the land, and she told her husband point blank that if he insisted they move in, she would ask for a divorce. Some accounts claim that he insisted, and she did indeed divorce him, while others suggest that he took her at her word and the house sat barren for years. Eventually, the property was sold to an off-track betting outfit, which explained the ridiculous amount of phone lines. So at least that mystery solved.
Okay.
Man, that was gonna be my paranormal linchpin. I'm like, who has 30 phone lines?
OTB.
Yeah. Fuck.
Due to the spaciousness of the home and the desolation of the property, the owners of the OTB decided to expand their empire from the legal trade of gambling to the illegal world of prostitution, with all of the heartbreak, violence, and attendant human suffering that usually accompanies such endeavors.
God damn it, I know.
Okay. Well,
The next owners of the property were, according to locals, a commune of survivalists and presumably white supremacists with the grim moniker Sons of the Gestapo.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
fuck's sake.
What the shit?
Fuck's sake is right. The SOG.
When they go to buy that property, if you're the real estate guy, you're just like, no,
Nope.
I don't sell to Nazis. Like, what a fucking, this is our club, Sons of the Gestapo. Like, nope.
It's a little weird. We'll get to that in a
Okay,
second.
that's fucking Jesus Christ.
The SOG, as they were called, were considered to be terrorists in law enforcement circles due to their alleged involvement in the October 9th, 1995 multi-car derailment of Amtrak's Sunset Limited near Palo Verde, Arizona. This act of sabotage resulted in 78 injuries and 1 death. 4 typewritten notes attacking the ATF and the FBI for the 1993 Waco siege, signed Sons of the Gestapo, were found near the scene. Though the citizens of Buckeye seem to think that they were framed when that's true. They think they're just a local survivalist. Fuck the name. That name that's a red fucking flag
I mean,
everywhere.
you
Clearly
can't
has
get
nothing to do with anything.
any more
They're just trying
red
to live off the
flag-
land.
Jesus Christ. You can't get any more red flaggish than that.
I mean, that's some pre-QAnon shits that you're like, no, but whatever.
Oh, God.
When local law enforcement went out to the ranch to question them, the SOG allegedly refused to cooperate, resulting in what has been reported as the deaths of between 4 and 6 members. The remainders were evicted. Oddly, though much was made of their potential culpability in the train wreck, there are no clear records, only persistent rumors of the shootout at the ranch, and stranger still, there seems to be no confirmation as to the existence of this faction among those that monitor white supremacist groups. This has led some, including John Edmonds, to suggest that the whole SOG affair was a false flag operation designed to cover up some insidious government agenda. So we'll just put a pin in that and just let that live there where it lives, because it really doesn't play into the rest of it, but it is what it is.
Okay.
While others assume that corrupt local law enforcement, hoping to avoid even a whiff of Waco-like controversy, swept the mini massacre under the rug. During the course of co-writing the book, Bruce McDonald, who co-authored, the book with, John Edmonds, in an effort to get to the bottom of this mystery, called the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office and asked to speak to the Records Division. They were either unable or unwilling to offer any confirmation. Intriguingly, within an hour of this call, John drove home to find 3 vehicles from the Maricopa Sheriff's Office on and around his property, snapping pictures. None of the officers spoke to John, but their arrival seemed beyond coincidental.
Oh, shit, man. You're getting yourself into 10 different fucking layers of shit fuckery.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And they were, it was already a shady, weird place. Like, I think the sheriff got arrested for doing some shady shit, but then was pardoned. I mean, all sorts of craziness
Now
in this
you're
county.
digging up the Sons of fucking Gestapo stuff. And
None of this necessarily paranormal, but just part of the history.
But it's definitely a weird fucking thing for this ranch to. I mean, just this alone for a ranch, you're like, I mean, the whole wife thing, you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, your wife gets but the icky feeling, like, I'm not going to live here.
Yeah.
You spent a ton of money. You built this house from scratch. Clearly, it was her dream to own a horse ranch too, and she's like, nope, fuck you. I am not going to come here. That's a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But then you got these assholes.
The final incident that the installer relayed to John is, in many ways, the most tragic. After the SOG were kicked out, the land was purchased by a Mexican family who ran a cattle ranch that specialized in veal. For some people, that's the crime.
Are we going to have veal hour now?
They had a teenage son who, on the day he was to graduate from high school, sat down in the living room, placed the barrel of a shotgun in his mouth, and took his own life.
Oh, shit.
Leading John to write, as I listened to the Southwest Bell installer, I started to imagine that the earth itself on the ranch preferred blood to water. End quote.
Oh, dude. That's a creator record. Fuck, or a Slayer record.
When he finished his Tales of Woe, multiple, the serviceman told John that he ought to cancel his check, sue the real estate agent, and get out of there as soon as possible. When John informed him that he'd paid in cash, the nervous little man simply nodded and said, "I'd appreciate it if you never called me again." After which he left and was never seen again, much like the monster killer.
Man, oh God, just trying to get some phone lines installed, dude.
Dude, just need to be able to call,
And then-
an ambulance in a pinch.
Man, this fucking guy just dumps everything on you, and you're like, fuck.
And you wanted it, but after you got it, you're like, well,
Sometimes you're probably better off not knowing.
sometimes dead is better.
Sometimes.
All
that is
Pet Cemetery.
better.
Now armed with the knowledge of the ranch's often brutal past, John decided to double down on his efforts to transform the property into a place of hope. He had no intention of telling Joyce what he'd learned. She already hated the place, and he had no desire to offer her more fuel for her already flaming desire to sell the ranch and move on. During his long, lonely days on the ranch, John took to driving out into the desert, exploring the land, and savoring the desolation that stretched for miles in every direction. During these daily sojourns, two things began to happen. The first was that John began to notice strange, glowing orbs of light in the sky that resembled immense fireflies. Though he knew that the Barry Goldwater test range lay just beyond the Estrella Mountains on a relatively undisturbed stretch of the Sonoran Desert southwest of Luke Air Force Base, John didn't feel as if he was looking at any kind of military tech. Still, he didn't consider himself a UFO guy, and as they were some distance away and showed no apparent interest in him, John didn't think too much about their origins and just enjoyed these private light shows.
Fucking NHI, dude.
Sure.
Starts off innocent.
NHI. This is how they always start off.
The second thing that happened was that John stumbled across a small herd of emaciated horses living in the desert.
Oh, God.
Though skittish, the animals would cautiously approach him in his truck, marking them as formerly domesticated animals. Later, locals would tell him that when ranchers fell on hard times and could no longer afford to feed and care for their horses, some would lead them into the desert to fend for themselves. I don't know why they wouldn't sell them. Make money.
I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you just sell them to make money? Why just like, yeah, here you go die.
Lazy bastards.
Yeah,
I guess so.
They're not going to like fucking breed wild horses. Oh, wild horses.
Well, they can go feral.
I mean, you'd think that they would just breed.
But, I mean, it's a fucking desert.
Yeah, but just fucking have, they did that in Florida.
But you need food
right?
and water. Florida's got food and water. This is a desert.
Oh, yeah, it does it though, really.
This did not sit well with John, whose dream had been to open a rescue ranch. So at his own expense, he would buy hay and fill barrels of water and take them out to feed his newfound flock. Eventually, the horses, recognizing a meal ticket when they saw one, began following John back to the ranch. In no time, instead of spending his and Joyce's hard-earned cash on the horses, or on buying horses, I should say, they adopted a herd of 12 animals, quickly filling up the stables that he'd been steadily repairing since they'd moved in. So his intention was to go to horse auctions, but now money
He
saved.
just found 12 skinny horses in the middle of a fucking desert.
Fed them and brought them home. UFOs and horses, we all know the Arizona desert's chock full.
So this is still fucking weird. This doesn't fall into the bad weird, but this is still weird.
It's still weird.
Yeah, no, when you got to tell your, like, when you talk to your wife, you're like, BT dubs, honey, we got 12 skinny horses.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, shit. I mean, good for him. You know, and plus you're helping the animals out, man.
Free horses.
Yeah, well, fuck, can't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah, there it is.
I don't know what that means.
The amount of times I've looked in the paper for free horses.
Yeah, dude, same dog. Shit, the
Man.
motherfuckers are expensive.
Yeah, stray horses are hard to come by around here.
Dude, but if you find one, man, you ride it.
Oh, yeah.
Ride that fucker into the
Go
sunset.
to your local desert, pick up some free horses.
Just ride it, just like your Indiana fucking Jones, dude.
In the weeks and months that followed, John began to experience a new array of phenomenon and became aware of what he described as a quote-unquote disquieting presence around the house. At first, it began subtly. He'd come home from working outside, set down his wallet and keys, and take a shower. But when he came out dressed and dried, he wouldn't be able to find them anywhere. Even when he would specifically place them in a preordained spot, they would vanish only to turn up exactly where he left them hours later. He was alone in the house, so we knew it couldn't be Joyce unintentionally moving things. When out working the property, John felt vibrant and alive, but whenever he returned to the ranch house, a darkness took hold of him. He began to feel like he did when he was a kid outside of Chicago, perpetually tense, his body ready for fight or flight.
A man surrounded by violence.
And that's why he wanted to live in nature. So it would be just like Grandpa's Arkansas farm. He'd get away from that bullshit. He wouldn't have to live, with perpetual terror in his heart, like the little boy.
Dude, when you're living with violence
Fucking terror.
and skinny horses,
Yeah.
I mean, it's when shit comes together for you or falls apart.
John's frustration devolved into paranoia, and without warning, he would be overcome with fits of inexplicable rage that came out of nowhere and totally consumed him. The long hours alone were beginning to take their toll, and even during those brief moments when Joyce was with him, he dared not mention what he was going through in her absence, partially to protect her, partially to prevent her from telling him, "I told you so."
Yeah, as a husband, this is the last fucking thing you want to do. I will go to my goddamn grave before I hear and I told you so.
You live on a terrible monster ranch.
Wow.
Yes, I would. And I'd be like, yeah, Nicole, skinny horses, and I have anxiety. Fuck off. And then she'd be like, told you so.
Wow. He felt as if he was losing his mind, but noticed that this only occurred when he was inside the house. When he was outside, he was filled with optimism and joy, sensations that would last for the first few minutes after he stepped through the threshold of the ranch house, only to dissipate like quickly fading memories from a dream.
Kind of like in the Mothman that we brought it up before, the zone of terror. Dude.
The zone of terror.
Yeah.
But why?
It's
Like clearly
Or the
it
zone
was
of rage. in
like
this case.
previously. I guess we don't know what happened. You said the people who bought it maybe lived there or maybe didn't ever live there. But
Yeah.
like it can't. I feel like it can't be the house because nothing happened in the house. So it's got to be
It's the ground, dude. It's sour
nothing
ground.
seemingly happened in the house
That's
before.
not true. Besides the fact that there was perhaps a 4 to 6 mini massacre of, white supremacists, or a false flag thing where they killed a
Right,
right.
terrorist cell or something. I don't know what.
That came after, right?
No, that was all before he bought the house.
No, I'm talking about the very people who built the house.
Oh yeah, the people that built the house, nothing happened except they got divorced,
Right,
or
but
they never
but
lived
she
there.
felt
She
weird.
was-
I
she
think
was like-
felt
But she
weird.
felt weird.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm talking.
Then there was
about.
murder, but then there was the kid who killed himself in the living room.
Right.
Yes, that's all
Right.
after though.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the very first people who
Dude.
the dude who built the house,
Okay,
and the wife felt weird.
Agreed.
So that's like, well, then there's
Dude, the
so I feel like
ground,
it can't. Right, it's got to be the property.
the ground
not
is
the actual
sour.
house,
dude.
right?
It's sour.
Sour ground.
It's bad. Sour ground.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everything's just adding on top of it, but there's
Sure.
clearly something there before.
Well,
all of this.
here's where you get into something really interesting, and that is something I'm sure ghost hunters and paranormalists have debated since a time immemorial. I'm sure we've talked about it at times, and that is what constitutes a haunting, what builds a cursed place. Like, does it start
Right.
that way? Does it start that way where the land, as Mark said, is just sour? Or is it something where the mass of the sheer weight of tragedy, be it like the heartbreaks and violence and weird things that were associated with an illegal whorehouse, to the massacre, to the suicide of this kid,
Yeah.
that all sort of build
Just a big cauldron of fucking
on what was
evil shit.
already sort of an icky place, according to the woman that didn't want to live there.
Yeah, it seemed like there was something there to begin with, and then it just piled.
It's
and
sort
piled.
of like the argument of nature versus nurture, but in terms of paranormal property rather than raising a child.
That's a great fucking.
I mean, is it the genetics of the land, or
Dude,
is it what happens?
what fucking-
who raises the land and how badly they do,
What came first, dude? The fucking land or the curse?
or a combination thereof?
Oh,
Which is almost always the
shit.
actual answer.
This might be a pet cemetery situation.
It's
get-
it's not far off.
Dude, get ready for Zelda.
I will say this without
She's
going
coming.
too far. Oh my god, I hated that.
I know, it's so
that
gross.
Spinal bifida motherfucker. No offense to anyone with
It's-
spinal issues. I
dude,
feel so bad, but
she's
she
the
was just
worst.
ick.
She's so scary.
But that having been said,
Oh, so gross.
answers are forthcoming.
Oh.
which is rare, as we all know.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
I do. I mean, not this part.
it's coming.
Not,
All right.
not in this chapter.
Okay,
Maybe
all right.
not in the next one. There might be 3 or 4. I don't know yet.
Oh shit.
I can never
Answers,
tell.
that's not.
But I can tell you
That's not right.
answers.
You know what? I don't want them.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We're not going to tell you.
This is
'cause
the
it's
one. This is the one time we get them. We have to
Yep.
accept them as the truth.
Now we're gonna have a meeting after the pod.
God damn
You're right.
Son of a bitch.
Do we tell them? They can just Google it probably.
Do we
but-
Oh
tell
yeah,
them?
totally. They can Google it. Don't Google it. You're cheating.
Yeah, no, come on. You're missing the denouement and the ubris.
Oh, somebody's making cliff
The
notes.
zeitgeist,
The
the gestalt.
the gestalt.
Oh my god.
All righty.
Okay. So,
Oh, shit.
this unusual aspect of the phenomenon motivated him to use his years of training to document what was going on. He began to note that before he was taken by one of these black destructive moods, he could feel a sudden barometric pressure drop akin to an approaching storm, only many magnitudes stronger. So we all know that feeling when that storm just rolls in, that August thunderstorm, and you just feel the pressure drop in the air around you. But can you imagine like inside your house and not weather related and 10 times more powerful?
Yeah, having
that would be very
a
disconcerting.
weird physical reaction to something. That's strange.
Soon he began to observe that as his mood darkened, so did that of the animals outside. The dogs would growl and fight, the horses would whinny and kick their stalls. It was as if some malignant heaviness pervaded the whole property. Stranger still, once John began documenting these abrupt mood swings, in effect acknowledging them, it was as if the unknown force, whatever it may have been, took this as a cue to escalate its campaign to drive him crazy. As if the subject's recognition of the phenomenon ticked the requisite box to allow for more intense engagement. And John basically says something to this effect. Acknowledging it allowed it, he believes, to amplify its interactions with him and obviously mostly negative ways, because that's what this thing wants to do.
So like by giving it
maybe.
by giving it the acknowledgement, you're giving it power.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which is crazy, which is another reason why those of us that, you know, dance on the periphery of this stuff do well to turn a blind eye to a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah, we do.
Like you see some shit and you're like, that could be something, but I'm just going to keep walking because I got pizza at home in the fridge and I got some shit to do.
I ain't got time for
this.
dude. Hobgoblins ain't my jam.
Because you look at a hobgoblin, you know what that hobgoblin does?
What's that?
He looks at you.
Yeah. Oh.
And then it's hobgoblin problems.
Yeah, dude.
Then you got to pretend it ain't there.
Hobgob probs.
Knowledge is not power.
No,
it's not.
Everyone be dumb.
It's actually quite the opposite. For my 42 years on this earth, if I was dumber, I'd be so much fucking happier.
Yep.
Oh, kids know the deal. Like if you cover your face up and pretend that the demon's not there,
oh man,
guess what? You survive the night.
Yeah.
And then eventually you grow up to think it was your imagination and you live a happy life.
That's the way to do it, man.
But if you keep looking,
you keep digging for answers,
you get fucked.
Yeah, they start digging for you.
There it is.
Hobgoblins.
Nietzsche. Nietzsche.
Nice.
So that all fucking acknowledged, and this will be delivered in more in a forceful way later.
Okay.
This acknowledgement.
Cool.
It's something he's noting at this point. What began as missing objects and sudden bursts of temper evolved into things like his wallet or keys spontaneously falling down on him as if dropped from ceiling height by some invisible entity.
That's fucking infuriating,
That's
dude.
poltergeist as shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just all of a sudden you can't find shit and then keys hit your face and you know you're going to be livid.
He's so pissed.
Oh, you're so mad.
Oh my God.
You're happy you found your keys for 1 second, but mostly you're just pissed.
Fighting a fucking ghost immediately.
And even if it barely hurt,
it doesn't
but if
matter.
it stings your lip a little,
just if you look, if my wallet just falls out of thin air, I'm gonna be like, all right, we're fighting.
That's it.
Yeah,
start punching the air.
We're skipping
doing
fucking
katas.
We're skipping fucking. We're going right to fighting.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's right.
Fucking awesome. This was followed by more acute poltergeist manifestations that seemed to correlate with his tantrums. When his anger would flare, dishes would fly out of the cupboards, shattering on the floor, and more than once he stared in slack-jawed disbelief as his refrigerator rocked violently back and forth, apparently of its own accord.
Oh, man.
Worse yet, the television or radio would spontaneously turn itself on, max volume, scaring the shit out of John and Joyce too when she was around. So just out of the blue, just
okay.
It's like when you're like in bed. It happens to me all the time. My wife will scare me, or I'll scare her. We're like on Instagram, and you're like looking at reels at 3 a.m. because you can't go to bed, and all of a sudden it's just super loud. You're like, ah! You're all fucking freaked out, dude. Nick gets me with that shit all the time, and then she just giggles, and I'm just like, go the fuck to bed, and she just tells me to fuck off. So there it is.
Perfect.
Yep.
Love.
Yeah. Aww.
Adding to the enigma was the fact that for no apparent reason, the electricity would suddenly go off in certain areas of the house, especially where they were using tools or appliances. No fuses were ever blown and the electricity would return just as mysteriously as it turned off. Again, you think faulty wiring, bad fuse. Maybe it is.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
the cumulative effect.
Yeah. It's just another thing to mark down.
Yeah, man, it's like John's a vessel, man. I don't know. He's like a fucking he amplifies this shit apparently.
It could be. I mean, you can't rule that out.
No.
I mean, but he's not a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah,
Which is where most poltergeist manifestations usually attach
Sure.
themselves. Like a pubescent.
But it's reacting to
young
his
girl.
moods. Like he gets angry, and all of a sudden it's like reacting to what he's doing.
Or
which is weird.
it's making him angry. It's hard telling.
Oh, like The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As the perplexing array of inexplicable events mounted, John was at first, and here we address it specifically, was at first unsure if he was inadvertently causing these ranch-wide outbursts of rage and apparent acts of telekinesis, or if the objects and animals were all being affected by some malefic outside force. So even he's struggling with it at this point. Am I the nexus?
Right.
Or am I just one of the many victims? Again, we actually kind of find out. Shocking. But fuck it. That's for later. Not now.
Fucking 303, baby. Answers.
That question would be laid to rest one morning as far as what's causing it, inside or out. Oh, wait, we're going to get an answer now. Shit. Oh, premature answers.
Oh shit, dude.
can't
I
believe
only
it.
fucking
my
finished
favorite
writing
kind of-
this today.
my
How can I
favorite-
be forced to remember?
My favorite answer is always premature.
Man, does he throw a fireball? Does he cast a spell? Just
Does he do a fucking Hadouken?
Dude, you just fucking drove me to an allergy
I know.
fit.
Fucking dude, does he do a Hadinky?
Dinkins.
Yeah.
hey, we're gonna see.
Hadinkins. Oh shit.
No more mystery.
All
Is
right.
it him or not?
Okay, here we go. Answers.
Boom.
All right.
After making Joyce breakfast and seeing her off, he walked out to the kennel to feed the dogs. It would be the moment when this strange series of seemingly supernatural antics would transform into something altogether more horrific. Boy, I felt like I read that weird. Did I read that weird?
I mean, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm literally scared.
All right, we're just gonna keep going.
The,
Leave
the,
it.
way, the way that you looked at it in over your computer and you said it, I'm like, I'm fucking tense.
I
dude.
said it to you.
Dude, my asshole is so tight right now.
I needed you to know.
My asshole is tight as a fucking drum.
As he approached the dog pen, John could sense that something was wrong before he actually saw anything amiss.
Oh no.
Then he noticed an open crate door. Before he went to bed every night, John made it a point to feed his Rottweilers, then lock them into their individual crates. There was absolutely no reason one of them should be hanging open. John picked up his pace, his eyes falling on a strange sight lying on the ground in front of the open crate. At first, he couldn't comprehend what he was looking at. Then, all at once, like a sucker punch to his gut, he realized that something had killed one of his cherished pets.
Oh fuck, dude.
Not only killed, but someone or something had managed to completely flatten the animal, prompting John to write, quote, "The carcass was completely flat, no thicker than a manhole cover, but there were no innards, no blood, no gore scattered about. It wasn't possible."
Holy shit! Like something out of a fucking cartoon.
Well, we dealt with this back in
Gee.
Desert giants.
Yeah.
in Mothman.
Yes.
I can't remember which part of Mothman, but you remember at one
Oh.
point one of the farmers found a flattened dog.
Yes, because
Oh,
the
yeah, that's right.
UFO flattened it.
Yes,
Yes.
allegedly, or that's the assumption. Or maybe they saw it happen. Shit, at this point, I don't even
Yeah, I don't
remember.
remember.
But I know they found a flattened dog.
No, I remember this. Yeah.
Now, its guts might have been everywhere. That's what makes this extra weird. And I know there's reports from Skinwalker Ranch, too. You actually saw it on one of the episodes, I think maybe in season 2, where a kid that used to live on the ranch remembered being out there with his uncle, probably one of the people that owned it. Oh, certainly before Bigelow. And they found dogs. They saw this bouncing orb in the field, and they found one of the dogs crushed, as if the orb had landed on it, crushed it, and moved on.
It's weird. There's like no. I mean, there's no gore, no blood, no nothing. Just
That's
flat.
Inexplicable.
That's fucking
Like,
crazy.
like inches thick. Like, I mean, what's a manhole cover? 3 inches max?
yeah, probably. Well, yeah, like 2.5.
All right, so
Yeah, 2.5, 3, yeah.
real fucking flat, and not to have shit come out the ends or the holes or any of the orifices where shit would usually squirt out, all the wet, yucky innards.
Yeah.
That's fucking inexplicable.
Yeah, I don't
Especially
even
with
know.
the force to flatten an animal, it would definitely send shit flying. Oh, it's fucking terrifying, dude. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
John recognized the indefinable mass of flattened fur as his beloved Gunner.
Oh shit, not Gunner.
Not only had something managed to open a locked gate and crush what was a very powerful and potentially dangerous animal, but it had picked John's favorite. Even less explicable was the fact that it had managed to do so without raising the ire of the 7 other dogs in the kennel. Just more impossibilities to consider. After finding Gunner mutilated, John's rage found its full release. He stomped, swore, screamed, and kicked the ground for the better part of 20 minutes, then wrote, "Whatever did this had my full attention. The day that line was crossed, the day my favorite dog was killed, was the day I declared war on whatever was assaulting me in the ranch."
Fuck yeah, dude.
Dude, Home
on.
Alone.
Home Alone.
Set up
Yeah,
some buckets of
darkest.
water.
You kill a man's goddamn dog.
Middle-aged Jake the Snake Home Alone.
Yeah, you're going to war, dude. Fuck. Now I know parts of this story. I understand why.
Yeah.
I fucking killed the entire family. Yeah. Foreshadowing.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rob, what just happened?
Jesus
I thought
Christ.
we just lost Mark.
Yeah. Are you going? It's like a dark alternate fantasy
I'm
world?
so angry over the dog. I'm like, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill its entire goddamn family, its whole lineage, its whole line.
Yeah,
Okay.
Everything's got to
you are
die.
not John Edmonds. All right.
I feel like very Jake the Snake-ish right now.
That's fair. After venting his rage, John realized 2 things with crystal clarity. The first was that all of these strange episodes that had been plaguing him for months were not just in his imagination. He was not suffering, as he feared, from early onset Alzheimer's disease or dementia. The phenomenon was real, and it had drawn first blood. The second thing he knew was that he could no longer keep Joyce in the dark about the events at the ranch. After all, she was in as much danger living on the ranch as were the rest of them. When she got home that night, John grabbed a flashlight, walked her into the backyard, and showed her Gunner's carcass. She was bewildered, horror-struck, and silent, finally managing to ask how that could even happen. John admitted that he had no idea, then began to tell her about all of the strange incidents that had led up to this tragedy. Joyce was dumbfounded. There was no denying what had happened to the dog, but she had not been privy to John's experiences in the house, and now she could not be blamed for wondering if the isolation had taken some kind of psychological toll on her husband. At any rate, as John had feared, his revelations about strange forces in their home only exacerbated her desire to sell the ranch and be done with the whole thing. John understood where she was coming from, but in what he would later chalk up to basic male pride, he refused to give up on his dream. Stardust Ranch was his property, bought and paid for, and he was not about to be run off by any spooks, even ones capable of crushing a canine.
Dude, I will fight a ghost right now. I swear to God. I said it before, I'll fight a ghost right now. You kill my dog? Oh, I'm so mad.
Oh, I'm gone.
I'm fucking so pissed.
I'm so gone.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
I
I'm
feel like if you
standing
crush a
every-
dog, like what's your plan?
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm standing every ground.
Like armor? Like what's
Dude,
gonna
it
help?
doesn't matter,
What's gonna
dude.
help?
A
Man?
fucking
Like,
old
what do
priest, a
you
new
think?
priest, a good priest, a bad priest, fucking all kind of bats, swords, maces.
Oh, don't worry.
Helsings.
Exorcisms are coming.
Yeah, dude, I'll have everything. I'll have 357 Magnums, submachine guns, regular machine guns.
Hey, put the brakes on, buddy.
Yeah, fuck, dude, you know what?
Okay.
Fuck that. Quad barrel shotgun. You know what that's from?
From fucking Phantasm
Fuck
2,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah, I'm calling Reg.
Like, I don't know my Don
Yeah,
Coscarelli
we don't
films.
need Mike no more. We
Wow.
got Mark. Mike's gone.
Okay.
He's a little
All
ball.
right, so now we're on your fantasy trip.
Mark's here with Reg.
And the 4-barreled shotgun.
You're the ball.
I am the ball. No, I can't be the ball. I'm the quad barrel
I feel like
shotgun.
that's the only thing that might do anything because it seems to be sort of
paranormal.
Yeah.
You need a glaive and 2 phantasm balls.
Yeah, but
it's an
wasn't- no,
artifact.
wasn't-
2 phantasm balls.
Wasn't Mike a ball at one point? He was.
Yeah, it got weird.
Yeah.
It got
Mike
metaphysical.
was a ball, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a
He was
ball.
like, hey, Reg, what's up? And he's like a ghost.
Moments better forgotten from horror history. Mike was the ball.
He's like, Mike, where you been, man? Oh, you know, Reg. Just the weird squat dimension that this fucking dude lives in that no one ever really understands what the fuck is going on. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
That's a pretty good scrim. In the weeks that followed, Joyce, perhaps out of concern for her hubby's mental state, spent more and more time at home. What should have been a welcome reunion, however, only offered them more opportunities to fight. John recognized that part of the problem was the fact that for the first time Joyce was being infected by the dark, temper-flaring forces in the house. But he was also sage enough to realize that his own stubbornness was the main source of conflict. Finally, after months of John being glad that there were no neighbors close enough to make noise complaints, he laid down the law and told his wife that he was not leaving the ranch. She could leave if she wanted, divorce him if she had to, but there was no way in hell he was giving up his dream without a fight. It was then that, realizing there would be no convincing him otherwise, Joyce resigned herself to living in this nightmare-fueled estate. In the years that would follow, John expressed regret over offering that ultimatum. He came to recognize that Joyce was the voice of reason and that he should have listened, but at the time he felt as if he had been ordained by God to get to the bottom of this mystery. He believed that all of the trials and tribulations he had been through had led him up to this point, and he had no intention of backing down now. It would be a decision he would live to regret.
Oh, dude, once a soldier of God, always a soldier of God.
Until you've done it for enough years where you're like, fuck, I was never really a soldier of God, and I fucking wasted a lot of time and put myself in a lot of danger and my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. All right, well, okay.
Having declared war, John went about preparing in the only way he knew how, by building an armory.
Yes! Fucking.
Oh, so
this is the Mark story.
He's going the Mark route.
This is the best montage
Like-
where he just ties the bandana. He's got his Crocs on. He cracks a fucking Milk Ultra. He's like, I better buy me a pack of cigarettes. We're building a fucking armory.
This is where you can see Nick Cage in his full flowered glory.
Oh, dude, 100%. 100%.
With Joyce's tacit approval, John began to invest heavily in firearms, handguns, long arms, automatic weapons. He placed them at various points around the house so that he'd never have to go more than 10 feet without being armed. 10 feet in 2,500 square feet is a lot of fuck-sucking guns.
It's a ton of guns, dude. Just fucking. It's fucking double machine guns, dude. You guys look so bummed.
what I just pictured in my mind was just fucking
Uzis everywhere under the couch.
It was like Lone Wolf and Cub, except the whole house is the baby cart. Yeah.
It's true. Joyce is the baby. The whole house is a cart.
Dude, he's one of those guys who got like an ankle holster. He's got like 2 guns on his hips, couple under his fucking shoulders. Ah, dude.
It's on.
He's fucking armed to the tizzits.
I don't know what this is supposed to do against the paranormal, but that's not the
I would do
goddamn
the same
point.
fucking
Well, that's the
thing,
funny
dude.
thing. All these things happen in other than a few fucking big fireflies and some undead fucking horses. He hasn't seen anything, right?
True. Yeah,
Like,
but
I was
man-
like,
While it's hitting him in the head and refrigerators rocking.
And the
Right.
dog getting flattened.
So things,
But-
but
right,
not
but
anything.
right?
Arm your fucking
Just like,
self,
well, I
dude.
guess I need 30 guns to fight to shoot something.
They goddamn took my dog, and they're like, "Sir, you need 32 guns, one for every."
And in Arizona,
damn.
Spears
in the 90s.
dude.
Got a pole arm? You need
Yeah,
pole arm?
harpoon
Yes,
guns,
holy shit, a pole arm would be fucking great.
blunderbusses.
Yeah, you can keep the pole arm, keep him at bay, and then just pop him with your fucking AK. Just fucking ba 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 ba.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, the AK will come into play. Not in this part,
Okay.
but just rest assured.
Right?
All right,
C4
Don't read
tripwires.
ahead.
You guys got one of those Predator gauntlets with the big knives that come out, and then in my moment of despair when I can't do it anymore, I can detonate myself and laugh. You got one of them?
I'm sure
Right.
someone had it. It was in
Dude.
Arizona. Buckeye, Arizona.
I want one of those Predator gauntlets so bad.
Oh, my God.
It'd be so
Everyone does.
handy in life.
It would.
It might make my job.
I mean, but you would, knowing you, God bless you, you prone towards dramatic, you would have blown yourself up at least
Yeah.
75 times.
Every day at work, you would fucking start the countdown,
how fucking dare you?
then just stop. Look, you see one piece of shit on a stair, and you're like, boop, 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 boop. I ain't doing this anymore.
I've had enough.
Game over, man.
After a couple minutes, you just breathe.
This is not.
Disarm yourself.
This will not be the next fucking 20 years of my life.
I just cleaned that graffiti. Boop, 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 boop.
Oh God, I want to find those people that keep graffiti in my goddamn building and break their hands.
Yeah.
They're probably children. I should still break their hands. And
There it is.
Kill their entire goddamn family.
Wow. All right.
They're teenagers.
You know,
it's
I was
fine.
with you with broken hands. Kids heal, but fucking come on.
This is for the dog.
Now they're orphans.
This is for, hey, whatever. This is for the dog.
All right.
I'm fucking
All right,
dying.
let's bring it back.
Oh God, I'm so hot now. Fucking titties, you're sweating so hard, dude.
Despite his proactive efforts,
Oh shit.
the ranch had tasted blood, and it seemed to grow hungrier by the day. At first, John and Joyce began waking up with strange scars and bruises on their bodies, which neither of them had any recollection of receiving. Sometimes they would wake up looking like they had had a car accident in their sleep. It was confounding and horrifying. The force then returned its attention to the animals. Just as he had when he had found Gunner, John was making his way into the horse stables when he came across another grisly sight. One of his horses had been yanked from its stall and left splayed on the floor, its stomach ripped open and its organs and intestines strewn everywhere. Like early fucking Herschel Gordon Lewis. Just nasty.
Yeah.
John could tell that the animal had struggled mightily. The walls of its stall had been battered inwards, and one of its hooves was twisted and broken inside the metal bars of the door.
Oh, shit, dude. Went down fighting.
Yeah. Again, John could not fathom how he and Joyce had managed to sleep through this ruckus, or how the other horses remained so calm while one of their own was being massacred. It seemed as if dark magic was afoot. Still. All right, I'll admit that's editorial.
You can't just say it like that.
That's editorial. In my mind, that would be my first instinct. A flattened dog and a fucking
It must be.
And a weird fucking dead horse with its hoof all like gnarled up through a fucking barred fence.
It must be
Dark magic.
Still.
Because you got to play both sides of the fence.
Your return back was great. Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't what you said. It was how you said it.
After all he'd been through and seen, John was desperate to believe that this was the work of human assailants, not dark magic.
Okay.
Which is my opinion. Perhaps it had been one of those cults that were all the rage during the mid-'80s satanic panic and who had been blamed for more than a few cattle mutilations. To prevent any more of his horses from being killed, John took to sleeping in his truck with an M16, hoping to catch the bastards in the act. But deep down, he knew that this would never happen. Whatever it was that had been attacking him and his wife and mangling their animals was not a person, satanic or otherwise.
Just sleeping in your fucking Chevy with your AR-15 just ready to fucking smoke somebody.
Oh, yeah. Just
I mean, I feel
out
like
there.
if you're sleeping, then how are you like?
I think...
Yeah,
I think he's like
you're not sleeping.
He's learned to sleep with one eye open, like as we mentioned in the last part, like ever since he was a kid, and like prowlers would burst
prone
in.
to violence,
I mean,
dude.
that's
He's
not going to help your
surrounded.
mental state.
Well, he's not so
either.
much prone to. Well, he will be prone to violence,
But he's surrounded by it.
but he's prepared for violence.
He's been preparing. His entire life's been leading up to this fucking.
But he's been living a pretty. He wasn't a gun guy. He was a social worker. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that he didn't.
They did this to him. They turned him. This is what the ranch
At least
did to him.
that's what that's the picture that the book paints.
The ranch turned him
A man, a
into
reasonable man, a
killing
professional,
machine.
and there. he
Yeah,
is.
but I mean, there's still. I mean, he had that. I mean, he grew up in those situations, so there's a piece of that there already.
Right.
Maybe that has something to do with it.
This
Really.
is-
Like,
that was his training.
Nature v. nurture again.
Yeah, what came
Well,
first?
this is all nurture, I guess,
What
because
came first, John or the gun?
wow,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
You know what? John is the gun.
there it is,
The gun is John.
and that's one to grow on. Although John was prepared for war, and Joyce was resigned to it, neither could possibly imagine the depths to which the multifarious forces arrayed against them were prepared to go. As time went on, the couple would realize that they weren't dealing with just one or two paranormal phenomena, but an army of anomalous entities hailing from vastly different realms, who had evidently banded together for the sole purpose of making their lives a living hell. A mission at which they succeeded until John decided to fight back. And, like ancient heroes of myth and legend, he was given a weapon with which to wreak his holy havoc. But that, dear listeners, is a story for next time.
Oh shit! Stardust Ranch Part 2.
okay.
Dark
He gets
forces.
the Perseus treatment.
dude. And he gets a fucking special weapon.
God gives him a special weapon.
I do know what. We've
Of
covered
course
this.
you know.
I know where this is going.
I mean, anyone who knows a little bit about this, we're not going to say it.
but it's
And
so,
if you don't know, don't learn.
dude, it's so Arizona. It's so.
It's
Arizona.
not at all.
No, it is.
In fact, it is so not. In
no.
my
When
opinion.
I explain it next week.
Okay.
Why it's so Arizona.
Okay.
Why this Jake the Snake looking motherfucker shows up ready to fucking do battle.
Fair enough. I will
man.
defer my opinion until next week in your explanation.
Shit. Well, fuck, man. There it is. Yeah, the whole this obviously ramped the fuck up with the whole animal mutilation thing. I mean, you know, the whole like kind of the place playing off of him or him playing off the place. But as soon as you get to like hurting animals and like physically assaulting, you know, shit like that. Yeah, it's a whole new level of.
Well, it plays a
Fuck.
lot like Spielberg and Toby Hooper's technically
yeah,
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
And that it starts off as a phenomenon that's both enthralling and, at least for Jo Beth Williams' character, exciting. You know, the little girl sliding across the floor, the kitchen chairs are getting assembled. No one's seeing the dark shit to come. This is how it starts for him. It's like a light show in the sky that's just for him to enjoy during the day when he's out driving around with his dogs. And then, you know, all right, so some annoying shit's happening. You're missing your wallet, you're missing your keys, you don't get to run some errands. Who the fuck knows what? And also really disturbing things. So it escalates with the temper tantrums where he's like flipping out, punching walls, but trying to make it so that the damage isn't there. And he has to explain it to his wife later, but just having little fits. Then using, you know, his, you know, years and years of practice helping other people deal with their problems to like try to, you know, make himself third person the situation, look at what's going on. And like, that's when he recognizes, oh wait, the animals are being affected too. And then the acknowledgement of it takes it up another notch where all of a sudden shit's falling from the sky and you know, Joy starts getting affected after the fact. But then of course the ultimate escalation, the line in the sand as it were, is fucking Gunner's death.
Yeah.
Fucking big rips
all of a sudden.
And then from now on, it's fucking balls out.
Dude, this is,
it's nothing that's happened so far even compares to what's going to happen next.
This is fucking all out war, dude.
It's crazy.
Yeah, fuck. Man, all out war. Remember that band?
Yeah.
Fucking New York hardcore band, All Out War.
I do.
For those who were crucified. Oh,
boy.
dude, this would be the soundtrack for the movie, dude. Fucking All Out War, fucking mosh. This giant fucking shoots his entire fucking shoots his whole house. Dude, I would be shooting the house at this point. I would just be walking around, boo, 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 just shooting the house.
That'll happen.
I would stand outside and just fucking load it full of bullets, and then fix it, and then do it again, just to show.
Oh, you blame the house. Oh, the house is the problem. You want to kill the house?
No, speaking of this, dude, speaking of that, movies that we know, House.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did it do? His friend from Nam died, came back through the house, took his son. Yeah, and it was Bull from Night Court.
It was, which was weird.
Yeah, he was such a nice guy.
Yeah, not in
Greatest
that
American
movie.
hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, William Cott.
Yeah, it was William Cott. Fuck.
Going to something that's ostensibly not fiction, though, I think I'm pretty convinced it mostly is Amityville Horror.
Oh, yes.
Again,
To me, that's why
things.
when he started getting weird, I'm like, there's a little bit of Amityville.
That's James Brolin losing his fucking mind slowly but surely.
In the house, and when he gets out of the house, it's like, clears up.
Yeah,
gets in the house, and all of a sudden he's like,
yeah.
That's a good point, though. Yeah, definitely.
That's the music you hear.
Yeah, everything is fucking weird on you, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Shit, man, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, he goes through his dark passage with the dark forces, hence the title.
That's what you gotta do.
And he's going to start coming out the other end. But before that happens, shit's going to get even weirder.
All right, awesome, man. Well, there it is. Fucking thank you all so very much. Stardust Ranch Part 2, Dark Forces. I'm fucking so excited for this. I've been waiting to do this for so long.
I know.
I love it. I'm trying not. There's obviously things I don't remember, so I'm trying not to like spoil it for myself. But as I said, I Googled them. I'm like, oh my God, he's Jake the Snake. And then I'm like, well, let's see. Oh God, I spoiled some shit. So
stop it.
It's okay, though. It's
Stop
all right.
it.
No,
now.
Stop it, Mark. Stop it. Robert, we have some shout outs to do for the good folks over there at patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. As mentioned at the top, I'm going to vamp for a little bit here. You can find the list
here. I have it.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to go, and I'm excited by the prospect.
So before we get started, though, as mentioned at the top of the show, if you're having billing issues, get a hold of me, and the easiest thing you can do is change your payment method. If you're having more problems, just email me, cryptonautpodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us a message on Patreon. Shoot us a message in the socials. We'll figure it out. We'll get you hooked up. Technology sucks.
Yeah.
Chris and I complain about it constantly.
Yep.
Because it's just a fucking pain in the nuts.
That's why I hardly use this stuff.
It should not be this hard. But unfortunately, sometimes it is. But, we are here to help you. You help us, we help you.
Wow.
So get a hold of us. We'll get you some links. We'll get you all set up.
And
Robert,
thank you for enduring these troubles and continuing to support us.
Yeah, no, plenty of people
much obliged.
Signed back up, which is super dope. Robert.
Speaking of which,
Let's do it.
Vladimir Jenkic.
Thank you, Vladimir.
Tanuki.
Thank you, Tanuki.
Steve Todd.
What up, Steve Todd?
Crystal Davies.
Oh, shit, Crystal, what up?
Definitely not the Hat Man.
Again.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Again.
How many times?
Yeah.
Valerie Hyatt. Hey, you know what? But thank you. Definitely not. I know it sounded dismissive.
Yeah.
The fact that you came back means a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You are definitely not the Hat Man.
But then I seemed like I rolled over Valerie Hyatt. No, I didn't mean to do
No,
that
you
either.
didn't. No.
Good for you. David Cole.
Thank you, David.
Christopher Ball.
Oh, shit. We won't Chris forever. Thank you so much, Christopher.
See Ballin.
We appreciate the support.
Damon.
Thank you, Damon.
Jared Williams.
Thank you so much, Jared.
Sean Standridge.
Oh, shit. What up, Sean? Thank you so very much.
Oh, and this last one is a unique spelling and a pronunciation guide. So I like this, and it is Ariane Colden.
Oh shit,
Wow.
Ariane, what up? She sent me a whole thing explaining about how her name was like
You put it here.
No, there was more to it. Like
there is?
her name was like misspelled or like mispronounced or something, and she was like, "Yo, this is how you say it."
Oh, is this a correction?
No, this is a new patron, but she sent us how to say her name, so I wanted it fresh in my mind, so I just kind of like jumped her up the list. So
I
that
definitely
could
would have
do it.
said Ariane, not knowing.
Dude, I would have said Ariane,
But
too.
Ariane
Ariane.
Colden. Thank you all. Thank you everyone else. Thank you for people that are just listening and supporting any way they can. Thank you for anyone's ever sent us a gift. Thank you all for just being a part of this fucking ongoing odyssey. We
Yeah,
really
fair
appreciate
share.
it.
Dude, we fucking appreciate the support. It is so fucking awesome. If you'd like to support us in other ways, again, as we mentioned previous, there's patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. We got merch over at hellerspace.com, and we got merch over at cryptonautmerch.com.
Do we have a new t-shirt yet?
Not yet. I need to order test prints.
Oh, okay.
No, I have to get the test print
I
orders
understand.
to make sure that it's not.
No, it's something I got to give Mark credit. He always orders test prints before we go live to make sure that shit works.
Well, we have fucked ourselves
We have.
hard in the past. So I'm like test print guy now. I will make sure it's done properly. So yeah, check those out for merch. School is around the corner, kids. If you're, I don't know,
God.
school aged and you're going back to college, or if you're going into 12th grade and you want to wear a fucking sweet podcast shirt, fucking pick one up, dude.
Oh, okay.
Back to school sale, dog.
Fair.
Wow.
What'd you think I was going?
I mean, I
Nobody
assumed
knows
it
what
was
you're
back,
doing.
back to school sale.
No one does.
It's fucking back to school. You know what sucks? But
I hate back to school commercials. Even as a fucking 51-year-old man,
Yeah,
the
no.
thought of back to school still makes my balls crawl.
My kids get excited for school because
Oh, Jesus
they're
Christ.
awesome and smart and well-adjusted and fucking amazing little people. And I and my wife too get a pit every year, dude. When I see
of course.
when I see the buses doing their practice runs,
Yeah.
or when I see like, especially the first day when I'm driving to work and I see the poor goddamn kids in the corner, I want to be like, no, don't do it.
I guess school has
I mean,
gotten
actually,
better.
No, do it. You don't want to work at a ship plant. What am I saying? Get an education. Yeah, I don't know. Man, my kids love it and they're stoked, but I fucking hate it. I do love back to school because it officially ushers in the spooky season.
Oh, that was always the part of it too. It was
Yeah,
just-
because you know what's opened officially?
The Halloween store.
Spirit Halloween. I've been there already, dude. They have a full fucking animatronic Leatherface. I want it in my front yard.
Only you can make it
If I
happen.
didn't buy that goddamn Xbox Series X Diablo bundle, I probably would have been able to afford the fucking full animatronic Leatherface. But I can't.
Choices.
I made choices.
Yeah.
It's okay. I got Diablo 4 to last me a while.
It will.
It's fine. But regardless, spooky season is here. So I'm starting right now. Sam Hain is in full
Spooky season
rotation.
here. It's August.
Dude, yeah, dude, I'm fucking there, dude. I lit my fireworks off. I'm fucking full pumpkin, dude. It is Misfit season's coming up. Don't get me wrong, but right now it's the transition
No,
from
it
fucking
is.
summer into fall, which is full fucking Sam Hain season. People have asked, they're like, you talk about the Misfits a lot, and Danzig, you never talk about Sam Hain. I fucking love Sam Hain. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
November's Coming Fire, fucking Unholy Passion, Hugh Cannot Be Named, All Murder, All Guts, All Fun. Yeah, everything, dude. I'm fucking there.
Okay.
I'm living it.
You're there.
Yeah.
You are living the dream.
I'm ready. I'm fucking prepared.
I'm so excited.
Okay, there it is.
yeah.
You know I love
We
my
see this.
autumn.
Dude, I'm here.
Liam already went to the Halloween store too. My 5-year-old
I-
nephew.
dude, we saw the shirt.
He got the Killer Clowns from Outer Space
Yes.
T-shirt
We saw
because he
that.
loves that movie.
Yes.
And his first animatronic spider.
I heard you saved up all year for it.
All year. He's been like watching videos on YouTube, studying up on like what he can afford, what he can get.
That's
Christ.
Yeah, he's just like a little
Fucking
geek
hilarious.
already.
Dude,
Yeah.
tell him to get a hold of Uncle Mark. Me, I'll take care of that shit. I'd be like, Liam, what do you want? It's a write-off. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're right.
Just listen. Put it in the studio once. It's a decoration. There you go. It's fine. We'll take a picture of it. You're good to go.
Give a couple jumping spiders from the studio, a couple of videos.
Nice.
I'm in.
Oh shit! So there it is, kids. Let's fucking get creepy with our fucking spooky season, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Indeed. So excited about part 3.
Oh, dude.
Maybe 4.
This one's a banger, dude.
Yeah.
This one's a build-up, dude.
Dude,
I mean,
this
the,
keeps getting better.
the dog
for the
was
record.
Yep.
dude. The dog, the dead animals is always a fucking
That's
bummer.
that's
always a fucking bummer.
trigger warning.
But goddamn,
which we didn't give, but hey.
people understand. I
Yeah.
mean, no one's celebrating the death of a dog. We're
No.
all bummed. I'm ready to go to war.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I was
You've
threatening.
made-
I was threatening to end family lineages.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. This is
No,
me,
this
dude.
is literally the hypothetical of what would happen if Mark became the victim of a paranormal onslaught.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just,
What John Edmonds does is the Mark fucking protocol.
just full Rambo.
Just full. Like
They drew first blood.
something stealing my keys, dropping it from the ceiling. AK-47.
Guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick, I'm getting the guns out of fucking storage.
Every 7.5 feet.
Put the goddamn
Dump kid
kids
to the
away.
wall.
You better put the kids to your mom's house for about 6 months. I gotta shoot every goddamn square footage of this house.
Shoot it. All the guns have compasses for some reason.
Yeah. North. Shit, how do I go there?
Just
Fuck.
throwing like the blue lights. And then
Yeah.
just firing it for no reason.
Just throwing the blue light. Blue light. Oh shit. Oh goddamn. There you have it. Thank you so very much. Talking to you soon. I did it 2 times.
You did.
I'm just gonna read the intro real quick.
No.
To have a backup for myself. Okay, cool.
All right.
Okay. I keep calling him almost John Edwards, and it's not John.
I know.
I know. Every time you say it, I think John Edwards in my mind.
Same.
I know too. Me too.
Okay, here we go. From the moment shit. Okay. From the moment he moved onto the ranch, John Edmonds found himself the victim of a malignant metaphysical manifestation, which seemed hellbent on not only driving him from his dream home, but quite literally out of his mind. As he learned about the property's brutal history, nefarious paranormal forces draw first... Right?
We can do Drew. Yeah.
Drew first blood?
Yeah. Might as well do it all past tense. I for some reason didn't write it in past tense, but it makes more sense.
As he learned about the property's brutal history, nefarious paranormal forces drew first blood, forcing the homeowner to declare war.
It's paranormal war.
It's paranormal warfare.
Fair. War not fair.
Oh.
There it is.
War unfair.
Wow.
War unfair.
Yeah.
We're pretty
War
deep.
unfair.
Remember like when Cage in fucking Pet Cemetery is like, not fair, and he kicks the fucking banister?
Yeah, I do.
After his dad put the fucking
The
needle
syringe
his
in him,
neck.
yeah.
He's like, not fair, and you're like, hey, just killed your kid again.
Well, it's a demon.
Wasn't,
Oh,
It's a
God.
demon saying not fair.
Twasn't him.
Sometimes dad's better.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That was a flawless main. What's up, Fred Gwynn?
Wow.
Oh, big rips, dude. I mean, he died about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's okay, though, dude.
It's okay. And he wasn't exactly like a spring chicken. He
I
lived his
know,
life.
but God damn it.
He got to be in fucking Cousin Vinny. He's all right.
That's what he was. Yeah, that's right. Did you just say Utes?
Yeah, there it is.
It's like, yeah. All right, here we go.